News because a federal court has just blocked Alabama's congressional map. The court is describing the map as tainted by intentional race-based discrimination. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman is live in the newsroom in New York for us today. Hey, Katrina, what can you tell us about this?
Mugo, this is a case that has now circled to the Supreme Court and back multiple times, and the issue currently is over a 2023 map that Republicans in Alabama now want to use for the midterms. It was previously found unconstitutional, Mugo, but it's now being reassessed in light of the Supreme Court's recent decision in Louisiana versus Calais, which narrowed the interpretation of the Voting Rights Act. So today, a panel of 3 federal judges decided to block the use of this 2023 map. They say that even in light of Louisiana versus Calais, that they still believe this map intentionally discriminates against Black voters and that it's in violation of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, Mugo. They say that it would also cause irreparable harm to Black voters in Alabama, that it would dilute their vote. What they wrote was, ultimately, we cannot see our way clear to requiring Alabamians to cast their votes in the 2026 elections under a districting plan tainted by intentional race-based discrimination. They note we are painfully aware of the gravity of our ruling, but in this unusual posture and on this extensive record, because they've reassessed this previously, there was a whole trial, we do not find the issue particularly complex or close. Wow. So they're saying this is not even close to them, that this is clear discrimination against Black voters in Alabama. Now, it is far from the end for this case. And while this is a blow to Republicans, they're hoping that this new map could actually help them unseat a Democrat, Shamari Figures. And we received a statement from him. He said, "I am pleased with the court's decision, but this case is still not over. It is widely anticipated this is now going to go back up to the Supreme Court, and this will be very significant because it's the first test of their Louisiana versus Calais ruling, even if Alabama may be a very specific case, Mugo."
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be provided are greater than the legal services of other lawyers. Well, we don't have Danielle Duggar today, but I'm Harry Steele. I'm a retired attorney down in Daphne, Alabama. You found the Heart of Dixie podcast, and we're joined today by the man who knows all about this, Brandon Mosley, content manager and reporter at the Alabama Gazette. How are you, Brandon?
I'm doing fine, Harry. How are you?
Well, you know, everybody, again, Alabama's trying to have an election and the rest of the country is trying to have a civil war, you know?
I mean, if the federal government and its goofy judges would ever get out of our state's business, we could actually sort of govern the state. But, you know,
we're still under radical reconstruction. We can't be trusted with our own affairs.
I mean, you know, I mean, try to drive the 2nd Congressional District as the court drew it. It would take you a day and a half. I mean, literally, it goes from the Mississippi line, you know, I mean.
Hey, let's do this real quick. So in sparsely populated big-ass states like, I don't know, where, South Dakota or somewhere, they probably have a congressional district where you can run out of gas driving from one side of it to another. Well, but in Alabama,
Wyoming,
when we have multiple districts, bigger
than Alabama, and they got one congressional district.
What I'm saying is there's no need for you to run a tank of gas out in Alabama because we have 6 districts instead of 4 that you have to try to.
We have 7 actually.
7. But, that's right. We do have 7. Well, so Brandon,
but I mean,
tell me about this 3-judge panel. Who's on it? Is this the 7th Circuit, 11th Circuit? Is it?
We're in the 11th Circuit. It's 3 federal judges who have lifetime appointments and aren't answerable to the people, and apparently aren't answerable to the Supreme Court either, because the Supreme Court told them they got it wrong when they sent it back to them, and they said no.
I thought our former Attorney General, Pryor, was up there. Isn't he on the court?
Yep, Pryor's up there, but he's not on this 3-judge panel.
Well, that screwed us.
I don't know why the whole 11th Circuit doesn't step in, but it's like.
So it wasn't it. So anyway, just from a legal perspective, what Brandon's talking about is an in-bank hearing where everybody on the 11th Circuit or 7th Circuit, no, it's 11th Circuit now, isn't it?
It's 11th Circuit
would
here.
get together and hear it, what's called in bank, where all of them are there and they write an opinion. One of them writes an opinion. Everybody else joins in on it. Maybe somebody writes a dissent. Somebody joins in on that. This sounds to me like these three people took. It doesn't look like it took any time at all. In the comments.
Yeah, I mean they had hearings on Friday, and but they would have ruled Monday, except they had the day off for Memorial Day. As soon as they got back into office on Tuesday, I said, "Hey, yeah, I don't really care what the Supreme Court said. Yeah, we think we were right to begin with, and Alabama intentionally discriminated when they drew the 2023 map." Again, Alabama had its 2 coastal counties plus whatever it took north of them to make a congressional district. Baldwin and Mobile were in one district. The Wiregrass, where the big thing is growing peanuts, they were all in one other district, second, that ran all the way up and included Montgomery and places beyond. I mean, it's a lot of peanut farmers and Montgomery. And to make, to racially gerrymander the state in such a way. Let me see if I can grab this real quick. Hello? I was expecting a call from the Republican Party, but that wasn't them. Anyway, the court said the way we had been doing it for decades of having the coastal counties in one district and the Black Belt with most of Montgomery or all of Montgomery in the other district somehow violated Black citizens' rights. Now, the reporter had it wrong. They never declared it unconstitutional. What they said was that we were violating the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Now, they later added that by doing what we were doing, by having regions of common interest, I have no idea what someone in the city of Mobile has to do with peanut farmers in eastern Alabama or people up in the Black Belt, looking at cow pastures, but for some reason, because of the color of their skin, the 3-judge panel decided that the most important thing in life is that people with the same color of skin are in the same district, which I guess would be okay if there was enough of them that, you could do a 75 or 80% Black district, but there's not. Alabama's only about 28% Black, and for them to have 2 out of the 7 districts, and unfortunately, Black people and white people in Alabama are not that racist. They don't mind living in the house next to each other.
No,
and that's
at
what
all.
we did. And that's what we ran into with 7, is that we tried to put all the Black people we possibly could in Terry Sewell's district, 7, but what happens is, they want to live in nice communities. I want to live in nice communities. So everybody buys in the same subdivision that has the coolest new amenities and the nicest new homes. And they don't care about being racially segregated.
Yeah, we're classist. We're not racist down here in Alabama. Just for the
if
record, we're classist.
Money to live in a $400,000 house, You want to live with people with $400,000 houses. You don't want. I mean,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
I
you'll
hope my
see
black
this like
neighbor
in
with the
rural
pool
Alabama.
invites me over for a swim party, right?
I
Like
mean,
there's
you'll see where there's a $400,000 house out in the country, and next door is a mobile home or some shack from the 1920s that's falling down. But generally, people want to live with their same economic class. So, I mean, again, as people get cool jobs, they move to cool neighborhoods and they're not thinking about being, racially segregating themselves by color, which makes drawing, districts based on race nearly impossible, as the court found out. But they were able to somehow cobble together a district that was 48% black, which was enough that Shamari Figures probably wins because there's more liberal whites than there are black conservatives at this point. So he beat out Caroline Dobson 2 years ago, like 55-45.
all right. So House Minority Leader Anthony Daniels said the decision confirms what repeated hearings and appeals have already shown. Yet again, the court, after extensive hearings, appeal, evidence gathering, found that Alabama was intentionally discriminating against black voters. Okay, I mean,
It looks to me like Alabama's trying to put communities of interest like the Black Belt with the Black Belt and the Wiregrass with the Wiregrass and the coastal communities with the coastal communities, but we can't do that because the court insists on racially gerrymandering us. But now, the important thing for the readers to understand is that where we previously were on here and told you that there was going to be a primary on August 11th, that may still happen, but our current understanding, based on what the 3-judge panel told us yesterday, is that will not be the case. That the primary we just had, which we were told isn't supposed to matter for Congress, is going to matter. Which means in Congressional District 2, it's Shamari Figures versus Hampton Harris, who we've had on here. They'll be on there unless a higher court intervenes, which I expect is going to be a possibility. At the moment, if you live in the CD2 as the court drew it, Shamari Figures versus Hampton Harris on November 3. Democrat versus Republican. Pretty straightforward. If you live where Harry does, down in Congressional District 1, which is like the southern half of Mobile County, Baldwin County, Escambia County, Coffee County, Henry County, and all those little guys on the
Covington,
Florida, Alabama lines,
Conecuh,
that's all the way to Georgia.
Escambia, yeah.
Yeah, that's much more complicated. My understanding is that means that the primary that you were told doesn't matter, that we just had on May 19th, actually did matter, which means you will have a runoff on June 16th between former Congressman Jerry Carl, who represents Mobile County and that coastal Mobile faction, and Rhett Marquez, a state representative from Coffee County who represents the Wiregrass. We just did this 2 years ago when we had Jerry lose to Barry Moore, who represented Coffee County and the Wiregrass, and the Wiregrass won. So on the 16th, you get to decide whether you're on Team Wiregrass or Team Mobile County.
Well, and the other thing is, and I know you don't plug folks, but I've known Jerry Carl for a long time. I was a county administrator when he was a county commissioner, and they came up with a fairly innovative paving program. He doesn't have a master's degree in astrophysics or whatever, but he knows what he's doing. He's done it before. He, do I agree with every, thing that he, that is on his platform? Not necessarily, but what I know is he knows people from Baldwin County, and I wouldn't know Brett Marquez if he walked in here, covered in Jello with his hair on fire. I'd be like, who the hell is this guy?
I've covered Brett Marquez in the Alabama legislature. He's, has the old Barry Moore state house seat, very respected in Montgomery. Just pretty much,
and everybody in the Wiregrass knows him, and not a soul down here does. Not a soul.
Well, that's what we're looking at. If the court-drawn map stays in place, where half of the Wiregrass goes in with Baldwin County and half of Mobile County, which is what CD1 basically is, then, your choice is on June 16th, Jerry Carl versus Brett Marquez. If later a Supreme Court steps in and says, no, the state of Alabama can actually govern itself and draw its own maps,
as the law prescribes, says the only people that can draw the maps are legislators
versus a bunch of beach guys.
Right, but the law says
and
the
Brett
legislature
will be running in too. I've got announcements from some of these cats that were in the CD1 race or are still in this, in case of Brett Marquez is still on the ballot now in CD1, who's going qualifying for CD2, which just confuses the crap out of the readers, but it's what we have to work with, thanks to the federal courts constantly sticking their nose in Alabama's business.
So I don't know if y'all have noticed or not, but Harry is fairly confused. That's why Brandon is doing all the talking. I don't have time to read 7 articles to boil this shit down.
Monday, he would have had an entirely different speech about this that he has today. What I'm scared of is we'll be back again in 2 weeks, and Brandon will have an entirely new speech thanks to more federal court interference in our business. It's crazy.
It is crazy. Well, look, I think we've informed everybody about what they need to know, and we will see everybody back for a regular podcast with a guest next week. Mr. Mosley.
Remember to vote on June 16th.
All right.
I don't know if it matters or not, but yeah,
just like the last vote you cast, we don't know if it's going to matter or not, but show up and vote.
Last time, whoever voted decided they wanted Jerry Carl versus Brett Marquez in a runoff. And then Kay said we weren't going to do that. Now we are going to do. I'm literally waiting on a call from the Alabama Republican Party to verify that my interpretation of this is the correct interpretation, because apparently they don't even know.
Yeah, well, I hate to point out the obvious, but two of the brighter Republicans are on this podcast, unfortunately, and we're kind of at a loss, and the party doesn't know. And
literally to know what's going on, you have to call your attorney, and then they have to go and read some rulings and readings, and then do weird stuff with tea leaves, try and predict what the Supreme Court will ultimately do.
All right. Well, I think it's headed to the Supreme Court, and like I said, there hasn't been a shift of power like this without blood all over the streets in quite some time. So the fact that we're fighting it out in the courts, that suits the hell out of me.
And wherever they tell us to vote or when they'll let us vote, we're there.
Right. It's like Reconstruction, and everybody wants to have a federal ID so we can. No, none of that stuff. Anyway, let's not get into policy.
Star ID so you can get on the airplane.
Right.
Illinois.
I need to go to DC, and I'm taking a train. Yeah, I'm not doing the whole
Last
Star
time
ID
I
thing.
went to DC, I drove my pickup truck the whole way.
All right. Well, everybody have a good week, and or what's left of it. And if anything changes, we'll keep you informed. Thanks, Brandon.
We'll have another podcast if all this is turned on its head in a week.
All right. Well, everybody have a good one.
the day is done. Sheriff rides high on a promise he sold, but his truth's been bought and his soul's been told. He don't walk alone down that courthouse hall, got shadows that move when he makes a call. A whisper here, a favor there, and suddenly justice ain't nowhere. You can hear it humming underneath the street where power and silence meet. Oh, the machine don't bleed, don't cry, don't care. It feeds on fear and the deals they share, pulling every string in the dead of night, turning wrong to right, turning black to white. If you stand in the way, you'll disappear clean. Ain't no fighting back when you face their machine. Got henchmen lined like dominoes in a row. They don't ask why, they just go where he goes. A nod from the top and a life gets crushed. Another voice buried, another file hushed. They wear the loyalty like a second skin, trading their conscience just to fit in. Break a man down, call it law and order, build their empire at the county border. Every favor owed is a chain that binds, every truth buried buys more time. Oh, the machine don't bleed, don't cry, don't care. It feeds on fear and the deals they share, pulling every string in the dead of night, turning wrong to right, turning black to white. If you stand in the way, you'll disappear clean. Ain't no fighting back when you face their machine. The district attorney signs with a steady hand, but the ink's been stained by a deeper plan. Senators smile from the polished stage while they trade your life for another page. County seats filled with familiar names, all tied together in a quiet game. Handshakes tighter than a noose can be, wrapped in power and immunity. And the victims cry, but no one hears. The truth gets lost in a flood of years, dragged through the mud till they break a bend, till the story twists and the lies all win. They'll take your name, they'll take your breath, dress it up nice and call it justice served to death. It's not one man, it's a web they weave, 1,000 hands that deceive, and every thread leads back again to the same old circle of friends. Oh, the machine don't bleed, don't cry, don't care. It feeds on fear and the deals they share, pulling every string in the dead of night, turning wrong to right, turning black to white. And if you speak too loud, if you're seen too clean, they'll grind you down in that cold machine. So the badge still shines in the morning light, and the town sleeps easy every night. But beneath it all, where the truth's unseen, there's a whole damn world run by that machine.
You better let go of my.
I'll fucking kill us, motherfucker.
Back! Get off my dog!
Get the fuck off me! Get the
Hey, that's fucking enough! That's enough.
I'm gonna kill that fucking dog, hey? And I'm gonna kill you.